Heads up. Heads up. Heads up. Heads up.
Are you sick and tired of waiting for GTA 6 to come out, or even for Rockstar to even announce a 6th game in the series? I've played this mission like 100 times already! Then have I got great news for you. There's already a huge plethora of GTA style games out there. The only problem with them is that you need one of these things to play them. Yeah, dive into the App Store of any Android device, type in the words Grand Theft Auto, and at first you'll see that there's a few past games in the series that were officially ported over to Android by Rockstar. Games like GTA 3 and San Andreas can be played on your mobile phone, which is great if you're literally anywhere else but your home, but the downside is that all the controls take up at least 40% of your screen viewing area. Not to mention your thumbs having to uncomfortably drag themselves left, right and centre to control the game. That's why I recommend that you get one of these things, a dedicated Android gaming device. This particular one is an Nvidia Shield, but there's a whole bunch of them that you can choose from, all with varying levels of comfort, usability and graphics power. They allow you to negate most of the shortcomings of mobile gaming, and is what I'll be using to record this video. But if you thought we were going to play some old but gold games from Rockstar, then you, sir, are just dumb. Okay? Just sit in the corner there and put your dunce hat on. What we're going to be playing is the games that pop up once you begin to scroll down on the initial search of Grand Theft Auto on the App Store. Sure, there's a lot of apps which supposedly give you cheats for the games aforementioned, as if the internet didn't exist, but there's also these games. Games that are desperately trying to be GTA, but don't have the financial backing to be good GTA style games. They're often made by single people, made in the exact same game engine, and often have very little production value. So I've got a whole bunch of these to try out, and we'll see if any of these are any good and worth downloading yourselves. So the first game that we're going to be taking a look at is this one that was made by Gameloft of all people. I'm sure a lot of you know who Gameloft are. They're a developer who mainly make mobile phone games and have been at it since we were using phones that look sort of like this. Enter Gangstar 4. Yeah, this wasn't the only game that they've made in the series, but it does seem to be the latest. I get greeted with an outdated Christmassy themed load screen, then after entering my age and gender, I get taken to the menu. Let's start up a new game and... I don't want to make an account. Thankfully, you're able to skip this and just play offline. So here we go, Gangstar 4. We get greeted with an intro cutscene about the main character who is supposed to fake lose a fight for a bet, but fails to do so and begins to get chased around by his peers. This leads on to the first mission where we get instant access to a machine gun and a rocket launcher. This actually reminds me more of Saints Row than GTA, but it's cool nonetheless. This is one of those games where if it detects that you're using an appropriate Android gaming device, it automatically sets up the controls for you and you can play without the use of a touchscreen, which is a pretty rare thing to find in these games. After the first mission, you're then taken immediately to the next mission where you get to do the driving yourself, and the driving controls are pretty good. Not as good as, say, GTA, but still alright. After that, we get to take a look at the in-game cutscene where three main characters are talking about stuff. This is where the low-budget-esque feel to the game comes into play. All the characters are for some reason much lower detail than in the cutscenes we saw earlier. Their faces don't move as they talk, making this look like an original PlayStation or Nintendo 64 game. It's not a good look, especially as how serious this game's story is intended to make you feel. After that, we can finally get a feel for the game's open worldiness, and it's okay. For a mobile game, there's just enough population walking and driving around the city to immerse you in the game enough for it to be believable. You get shown how to buy new weapons, vehicles and equipment, which is where it also shows you how the game makes money. It is a free-to-play game after all. After that, I had a little faff around shooting people, and then I just got bored and quit. I'd say if you're looking for a mobile game that's sort of like GTA, Gangstar 4 is worth giving a try. But for now, it's time to move on to even less budgeted games. I'm talking some really bare bones games from here on. Most of these are going to be more like alpha versions of games rather than finished products, so prepare yourself for the first game in this lineup. Vegas Crime Simulator. Yeah, just listen to that super generic stock music. Anyways, the game is basically the same as Gangstar 4, but there's no story and no intro. You just get dropped in and you can do whatever you want. That's right after I'm done configuring the control emulation for my device. Yeah, most games are like this where you have no choice but to use the touchscreen controls, but thankfully devices like the Shield have the ability to emulate touchscreen controls through button commands. Anyways, this game is okay, but like a lot of games that you're going to see very soon, they all just kinda let you faff around, and there's nothing really that much that you can do besides mediocre jobs to earn you money to buy weapons to faff around even more. I kinda like the movement animation of the character that you control. It's very fluid and nice, except when you go into aim mode with no weapon. Your character's like, put a map, come on, put a map. Riding the bicycle is also pretty funny. Your character never falls off no matter what you do, so you can do crazy stuff like this. Anyways, overall, this is another okay game. Nothing really too bad that I can poke it for. Let's just move on. Crime Simulator. We get dropped into the game and you may notice something about it that's sort of similar to Vegas Crime Simulator. Can you figure it out? It's the exact same game, only with a different coat of paint. Actually, I can't really tell. The character doesn't move as nicely as the other guy did, and the head-up display looks a little different, albeit similar to the other game. I really couldn't be bothered looking into this game for long, so I just walked up to a policeman and started beating him up. Once I knocked him to the ground, a civilian started shooting me, and also the policeman just got right back up like and proceeded to make mincemeat of me. Yeah, I can't really figure out these controls. You can tell just by looking, I'm just mashing buttons to see what does what, but by the time I figure out what does what, it's too late. Gangstar Town. Well, judging from the loading screen, it does look like the person who made this game did put a little effort into it. Maybe this game will fare a little... god damn it, it's the exact same game, in a different coat of paint. Same head-up display, just a little different looking, same low poly character and world, exact same game. This time I got shot down for doing absolutely nothing. This guy just came out of nowhere and started filling me with lead. Boring. Moving on. Grand Fight Gangsters. Hey yo CJ, what you doing in this bootleg game, fool? You actually play as the guy on the left, and wow, talk about a manly standing pose. This guy looks like he's about to punch someone in the face for taking his entire supply of drugs. He also moves around unlike any human on planet Earth, doing this sort of aggressive yet pooped my pants running animation. Gotta get to the toilet. Where's the public toilets in this damn city? It gets even better when he uses guns. He looks like someone from Postal 2. It's trying so hard to pass off as an aggressive guy with a pistol, but it just ends up being laughable at best. Besides funny animations, this game is okay. The scenery is a bit bland, even for mobile phone standards. All you can see is trees, lampposts, buildings, cars and pedestrians. It's so boring to look at. After the initial tutorial mission, we get to have a go at driving. The driving controls are decent enough and is pretty fun to play, but then after that, the game tells you that you have to go and shoot some people in the amount of time that you're given. This has no rhyme or reason. It's just like the game's telling you, okay, you're a criminal, you have to shoot some people. Okay, now drive this car really fast. Okay, you've done that, now go shoot some people again. Okay, drive this car really fast now. Boring. Moving on. Mad City Gangs. Nice City. Oh wait, sorry, hang on. The Grand Auto Nice City. Well, what's the game called, guys? Make up your goddamn mind. Terrible name continuity aside, this is actually the most interesting game of the bunch that I tried out for this video. For one, this actually has an intro mission, which is pretty good, though the initial cutscene could have had some work done to it, as well as some slightly better voice acting.
Let's get out of here! There's a parking downstairs, we have a car waiting there.
But when the mission starts, you'll be surprised to see that this game has cover mechanics. Yeah, pretty cool. Though it does make the initial mission more like a rail shooter than an actual GTA game. After that mission is complete, you can freely roam around the city in the game, completing missions, driving cars, shooting cops, you know, all the usual stuff. But what really annoyed me is that the aforementioned cover mechanics ceases to exist outside of that first mission. So the game either has such mechanics but only for certain circumstances, or it was just an introductory mission mechanic. I couldn't really be bothered getting far in the game to find out. Something else that really baffled me is the walking animation for the pedestrians in the city. They're all like, "Gee golly, this is a really nice city. I'm so happy for no reason." They even do it while being shot at, like they're a bunch of zombies whose walk cycle is that of a generic happy person. They don't react or anything. Overall, this game seems promising, albeit has some rather questionable things in the game. And the final game we're going to be taking a look at is the one that I favoured the most, Big City Mafia. And yes, that is the guy that you play as. Looking at the screenshots of the game, I was impressed by the visuals. I mean, if someone showed me this picture and told me it was a screenshot of an official game, I'd believe them. But let's see how the game performs, shall we? When you start the game, you start in this little room thing, which I assume is the main character's house. Right outside is the first mission, and you'll be surprised to see that the first mission of the game isn't about shooting people to death or racing cars around. You just have to take your car to the repair shop because it's knackered as hell. It sounds like I'm praising the game for such a lackluster first mission, but I actually sigh in relief knowing that the person who made this game wasn't just like, okay, we'll make a game about where you play as a criminal. First mission, you have to shoot 100 cops. Second mission, you have to shoot 100 civilians. Third mission, you have to drive a car really fast around corners whilst avoiding the cops. It starts off nice and modest and works its way up, which I think is a really good thing. Anyways, the game's engine is pretty solid, it controls well, the environments are decent enough, nice colourful graphics. I like it. Though I do have to question the choice of colours on the cars, like most of the cars are either a bright red or blue colour. Using weapons in this game is pretty satisfying as well, with full proper aim mode and over the shoulder view, though they could have used weapon models that weren't ripped straight out of GTA San Andreas. It has a pretty cool ragdoll physics engine too, usually showing off when you crash into something on a motorcycle, and as far as I've seen, this appears to be the only game out of the bunch to have police helicopters, which I think is really cool. Out of all the games that I've shown off in this video, this was the only GTA clone that I've kept installed on my device, and I'll probably play it another 3 times before I get completely bored and just leave it on my system. But in any case, I hope you enjoyed this tour of GTA ripoff games. If you want to see some more of this kind of stuff, make sure to let me know. But in the meantime, I shall bid you farewell, folks.